just found a nice spot to sit. I really like to film my videos outside. I think I just think better. But in this next point, I hope I'm gonna articulate it right, but I believe that a higher quality woman is not so cynical towards men. I think there's been a lot of, talk about, men only wanting sex, or they're not being, good men. And I think that, and it's same go with women, how many men think about women, but I believe a higher quality woman, is hopeful to an extent that there can be good men out there. And also, she doesn't see our differences as cynical, or in a cynical way. Because, there's obviously a difference between male and female sexuality. Men are often very attracted right from the start. And, women maybe take a little bit longer, but men tend to be, kind of sexually attracted from the start. And I think that, maybe that can kind of scare women sometimes. And a lot of rhetoric these days seems to express that male sexuality is kind of predatory, kind of dangerous, and more selfish, and non-relational, while females or women's sexuality seems to be painted as more relational, bonding, selfless. And I think that that's not always the case. I think that a higher quality woman can understand that a male sexuality is, we're kind of turned on easily, immediately. And it doesn't mean that we're just objectifying the woman. I'm, as a man, I can be, this kind of TMI, but I can be turned on very easily, but I'm still very relationally oriented. I still want a relationship. I still care about women. I would never just want to, get some action from a woman or whatever, and then just toss her to the side. Like, I would never want to do that. So I think a higher quality woman can understand that a man can be turned on pretty easily, but that doesn't mean that he's just trying to go for sex and then toss the woman out. Like, I don't know. I think maybe women in the past could understand that more and work with it, to work with the differences in men's sexuality. Men are often very ready to date almost right away just based off looks. And that's how we naturally are. But even for me, I want to screen a woman to know that she's good, has good personality, before I date her. But I can be attracted immediately, and I don't think there's something wrong with that. Men and female sexuality is just different. Women might not be sexually attracted for 2 or 3 months in, but neither one is better or worse. Just, it comes early for us, and then we're relationship oriented as we go along. The next point is just related to communication. I think we all sometimes like to swear, but I think ultimately profanity sounds way better when it comes out of our mouth than when we actually hear it from somebody else. I've sworn on video before and then watched the video back and thought that didn't sound nearly as good as it felt coming out. So I think a higher quality woman will want to limit swearing, and learn to articulate in other ways. And I think even in general, a high quality woman wants to be better at articulating their ideas, because to be with somebody who works on articulating themselves is very interesting, and there's a lot of depth to that. Learning new vocabulary, learning new concepts, and just to explain your ideas, and talking about other ideas within science, history, just reading books, and wanting to provide deep intellectual conversation to a relationship, and when we're out, is very important. I think another thing related to communication is not engaging in gossip. You know, I think a high quality woman, you know, maybe stays educated, stays in the loop, and knows what the gossip is. It doesn't mean that you have to run away from it, but to excessively engage in gossip as a form of entertainment, I think is not what a higher quality woman does. Higher quality woman would actually rather diffuse a rumor, you know, to say, hey guys, I think it isn't right that we're starting this rumor. I think it isn't right that we're assuming these things. You know, it's okay to talk about your assumptions, but to actually perpetuate rumors, you know, amongst other women, you know, rather than actually hoping to put a stop to it, is actually better. So a higher quality woman will do her best to actually give people the benefit of the doubt and actually prevent rumors and gossip from destroying other people's reputations, especially if they don't really have a business in starting those rumors and perpetuating them. Another thing related to communication would be the ability to handle conflict and awkward situations. I think that I don't know, for me, like, I just really appreciate people who can stick or who can handle awkward situations and conflicts with other people, you know, who don't avoid it. They will actually face it head on, and I guess it's related to what I said earlier. If you have a misunderstanding, to ask the person about it. But just generally, people who do not run from conflict and are not afraid to have difficult conversations, because every single couple is going to have difficult conversations at times, and I believe a high quality woman will go for those difficult conversations. And I think that, again, you know, like, just because a woman is feminine doesn't mean there's an excuse to be overly passive. You know, I think that, you know, like, feminine energy tends to be passive, but there's really no excuse when conflict has to be solved. Next we're going to talk about substances. So if you're going to, you know, drink, do not get drunk. I think it's just to be out of control is just not something that a really responsible person does. I understand, you know, people have their vices and addictions, so it's not necessarily a judgment, but if they can, like, do not be getting drunk. It's also bad for your health. You know, it does damage to your skin, I believe. I remember reading up on that, and just overall your body in general, you know. And then the types of consequences, obviously everybody knows. And then just vaping, even marijuana, even if it's legal where you are. I used to do it, I don't do it anymore. I think, yeah, it wasn't healthy, so I stopped. So I would prefer a woman that can drink maybe a little bit, because I like to have a drink, but not a lot, and not parties. So yeah, I guess even I think related to substances, you know, could be anything at parties, you know, such as having sex outside of marriage, or having a significant amount of sex outside of a relationship. I think that this is really bad, because your future husband, a woman's husband, is not going to want to know that she was giving the same sex to somebody she barely knows that she's giving to her husband. You know, a husband does not want to know that he had to work at her for years, you know, putting years of effort and investment into his relationship to be able to obtain the same thing that some guy obtained who wasn't even good for her, who she barely even cared about. no man wants to think about that. So I think, you know, me as a Christian, you know, I don't think it's good to be having sex outside of marriage, but if you're gonna be doing it, I would say at least freaking maybe do it once. But like doing that significantly, like that's just a rap sheet. Like a man does not want to know that when he's your husband. They're like, you are giving away his most prized possession, you know, like the ability to have sex with you, you know, then you are giving it away cheaply. No man wants to know that. So if you're going to be doing that outside of a relationship or marriage, at least keep it within a relationship, like boyfriend, girlfriend, because at least it's better for the husband to handle. The next point would kind of be an accumulation of values, but it would be basically be, you know, to help create a good friendship between your husband and you. You know, I think that friendship is important, so not just being lovers or sexual or romantic, but being able to hang out and actually enjoy each other's company even when something sexual is not involved. So I think that, yeah, knowing how to be a good friend to your romantic partner, I think that's really important, you know, for a high quality woman to have. Also to have good friends too, because, you know, a man is going to have to be around your friends and they're going to influence everyone involved. So to pick good friends with substance and yeah. This last one I think is huge. I think that this point isn't really stressed enough for women, and that's to keep your word. At least try. You know, there's the saying in English, you know, what's it? A man keeps his word. I think it's something like that. And I don't think that saying is applied to women equally, and I think it should be, you know, more applied. Like, men shake hands on things and there's promises, you know. So I think that I found in the past, even the women I'm dating can be very flaky. They can be very flaky in the sense of, you know, canceling on every other date and responding only to, like, not every message, like only responding to like 75% of the messages but not all of them. And I don't know, just things that are just very not consistent, or they'll say they're going to do something and really just don't at all, and it's almost like there's no shame when they do that. And I think as a man we're taught, you know, when you don't do what you're going to say, you know, you feel shame about it, and you at least confront the other person. You say, like, I'm sorry. But I've found with a lot of women that they don't have that same expectation for themselves. So I think that a high quality woman will be more apt to keep their word. You know, if they say they're going to show up somewhere, then they will, even if they're anxious, even if it's hard, I think, because that's what men go through. So I think it's best that a woman can do that too, or at least communicate very honestly if they can't keep their commitment. Next, I want to talk about hobbies and special interests. I think it's really important that the high quality woman will have, you know, some type of hobby or special interest other than, you know, watching movies or listening to music. I've met a lot of women who say that these are their two hobbies, watching movies and listening to music. And I've heard some even say sleeping is their hobby, and I actually heard that a lot. I asked someone what a woman what their hobby is, they say sleeping. And I think it's good because, you know, a man wants to know that you're doing something to get out of the house, because we don't always want to be at home and, you know, sleeping, watching movies, listening to music. That stuff is good, but I think it would be nice if you have something else. It doesn't have to be a super big hobby, but, you know, it could be trying wines, or, playing board games. I mean, that's usually at home, but doing metal detector at the beach, flying a kite, I don't know, something, but something different than those typical homebody hobbies to, you know, make your life more intricate and make you more, what's the word, eccentric. I don't want to talk too much about appearance, but I think, you know, the obvious, you know, take care of yourself, exercise. I mean, you know, I think most people can kind of get what I'm getting at here. I think to dress nicely, and I think a big part of it is to focus on classics, you know, classic wear, dresses, you know, suit pants, dress shirts, things of those nature, because I mean, honestly, personally, I think that when women wear like streetwear, you know, or like the Y2K trend that's in right now, the big baggy pants that kind of look like a thug, I think it looks kind of immature. Just my opinion. It's like as if they're 19 years old, and I think, you know, it's better to dress like a woman with class, you know, high heels and dress pants and things of those nature, fitted clothing, you know, tailored. I think another good, I mean, obvious thing is, you know, skin care and hair care, you know, to look like you take care of yourself the extra mile. And, you know, I'm trying to do the same thing. I don't know, I try to do skincare sometimes. I think another thing would be like excessive tattoos. I don't know, it's just like maybe a few small ones, but excessive, like covering your whole skin. I don't think that's right, like to do that to your body. You know, a higher quality woman would know to not cover their entire skin, because that's a major part of who you are, your skin. And covering your arms or legs, entire legs, I think is damaging your beauty. But to sum up overall, I think that a focus on natural beauty is the best. Like makeup that is maybe done well, but it doesn't look very natural. I think this type of makeup is not really what the higher quality woman would do. It's better to do a natural look, and even your hair have it natural, even if you color it a different type of way. You know, if you're using a bunch of products that are like damaging your hair, your hair is not going to look natural. And non-natural makeup makes you look not like real and authentic. So makeup is fine, it's just natural. This is just my opinion, and I found that the women that seem the most classy are doing a natural style. A big one, I believe, is perfume. Like, please do not wear like really inexpensive perfume. Like, it's not, I'm not trying to be rude, it's just usually it will give me a headache, and I think it gives a lot of people headaches. You know, perfumes last years even if you wear it like almost every day. So I think it's better to invest in something way higher quality, like $200, something like a Joe Malone or something like that. It just smells a lot more intricate. Because if you're an intricate, complex woman, and this goes for men too, I hold myself to the standard with fragrances. Like, you know, you want to buy something intricate, something hard to pin down. Like, you can't understand what the notes are. Oh, is that vanilla? Is that tobacco? Is that, like, you can't tell what it smells like. And I think that, you know, your perfume kind of represents how intricate you are by how intricate the smell is. And so yeah, I think it's really important. Invest in a high quality perfume. Still on my way home. This one's gonna be a little bit controversial, but I'm gonna say that a higher quality woman does not use pronouns in her Instagram bio or at the ends of emails or really anywhere, unless of course maybe they do have a gender identity issue. But if they don't have a gender identity issue, then why would you use pronouns in your Instagram bio? Like, why say she, her? It just sounds like virtue signaling. It just sounds like you just don't like have the courage to just be yourself. You know, like you're tapping into a trend by doing that. And it's like, I feel like a high quality woman knows. They know that they're a woman. They know that everybody else knows. Nobody's gonna misgender them. Like, please do not put she, her anywhere. I think even if somebody has a gender identity issue, it's more of a private matter. And to be asking people to call you by a different gender, I think, I don't know, I don't believe in it. But then again, I don't struggle with that, so I don't know, it's only my opinion. But for me, I do not get a good vibe when a girl uses she, her anywhere. And personally, I've not gone on dates with women after finding that out. I've actually canceled before. I didn't tell them that's why, but I canceled because I found out they had the she, her in their bios on their social media. But yeah, that's controversial, but that's just me. Lastly, I'm just walking home real quick, it's getting dark. Lastly, I just want to say in general, just add value to the relationship, like through skills. And this can really be anything. It doesn't have to be like feminine, you know, like activities, typically like more feminine activities like cleaning or cooking. Those things are really good, but really it can be anything. If you can fix a car as a woman, great. Like, just if you can do, like, the more value that you can bring, the better. You know, if you're good with computers, if you're good on Microsoft Word, or, you know, if you're good on you know, house decorating or anything of those matter, any type of skill, good at communicating, good at organizing, good with finances, any type of skill that you have, finding deals online for clothes or anything, then to bring that skill is important, because men, we're always taught to bring skills and value to our relationships and our life. So I think if a woman can meet us halfway, also really wanting to bring skills, and obviously I know everybody has skills, but I'm talking about a specific, holding yourself specifically accountable to show up to the marriage, also bringing like skills to provide is really important. Yeah, I don't know, I had one more thought. It's getting so dark. I'll try to get into light real quick. I just had a couple more thoughts. Like, I probably could have put these in somewhere else, but I think micro cheating is huge these days. I guess you could call it micro cheating, you know, texting women on this or other men on the side. You know, Instagram and all of this makes it so easy, or indulging in attention given by your male coworkers. And I think that there's a fine line, you know. I think that not all flirting is bad, you know. If, like, I think sometimes flirting with other people who is not your partner is not necessarily like a romantic thing. I think sometimes flirting is just fun, you know, people tease each other for fun. But I think there's, you know, a fine line where something becomes micro cheating, you know. There's always going to be somebody who is the opposite sex who wants to give us their full attention, you know, And that might be hard after we've been married for 5 years to resist that, because they're new and they want to give us their full attention, and they're asking us questions, they're asking us how our week was, you know. And I think that can be a hard thing to resist. Like if you already have somebody in your life, like it can basically be hard to resist someone of the opposite sex who's showing you attention, you know, and it's a new person. But we have to not indulge in that once we're married. So I think, or even in a relationship. So I think micro cheating is a really big topic, at least to think about. It's hard to draw the lines, but at least to keep the concept in mind is good. But yeah, that's my thoughts, I guess, on, you could say, a high quality woman. This video's gotten really long. I'll make one for a man. If any women watch this, I don't know, I hope they don't hate it, but I think these are my thoughts, and I'll try to make one, yeah, for men too. But yeah, this is for dating, a dating partner at least, as a woman. What else? Can I end this on a positive note? I don't know. Just trying to spread knowledge, and I just want us all to be better. I believe that we can be better as a society. I think that relationships are really important, marriages are really important, and you know, we cared a lot about certain things in the past few years as a society, as a world, but you know, they don't ever talk about the divorce rate. It's so big. But yeah, all right, have a good night, guys. Peace out. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, you know, that I'm Christian, and at least I try to follow the faith, and would definitely appreciate a Christian woman. I think that a lot of the values I talked about can be guided by Christian principles, and I don't know, I think that God can make these things a lot easier, and marriage a lot easier, and give good values and good guidance. All right, have a good night, guys. It's cold. I'm getting my butt home. Ate a couple cookies. I'm tired. Peace out.